Aviation is a world of precision. Every moment, every decision, every movement is calculated to ensure that millions of passengers reach their destinations safely. But sometimes, despite advanced technology and experienced crews, a single mistake can lead to devastating consequences. Today, we'll explore the tragic crash of a DC-10 during its final approach to Mexico City, an accident that stands as a sobering reminder of how small errors in aviation can cascade into catastrophic outcomes. The DC-10, a revolutionary wide-body jetliner introduced in the 1970s, was once hailed as a marvel of engineering. It could carry hundreds of passengers and was designed with advanced systems that promised a balance of efficiency and safety. However, the aircraft's history is marred by a series of high-profile accidents, some stemming from design flaws and others from operational missteps. The crash we're discussing today was a combination of both human error and the complex challenges of flying into one of the world's busiest and most demanding airports. The flight in question was on approach to Mexico City's Benito Juarez International Airport, a hub known for its unique challenges. Surrounded by mountainous terrain and sitting at an altitude of over 7,000 feet, the airport demands precision and careful planning from every pilot. High altitude reduces engine performance, and thin air affects lift, making landings particularly tricky for heavy aircraft like the DC-10. On this particular day, conditions were less than ideal. Weather reports indicated low visibility and gusty winds, factors that already heightened the risks of the approach. The cockpit crew was highly experienced, but even seasoned pilots are not immune to the pressures of such demanding conditions. As the DC-10 descended, it was clear the crew was struggling to align with the runway. Miscommunication between the pilots and air traffic control began to complicate the situation. Mexico City's busy airspace meant there was little room for error, and the approach required constant adjustments. Then came the critical mistake. In the midst of trying to stabilize the approach, the crew miscalculated their altitude. It's a chilling reality of aviation. Even a slight error in reading instruments or calculating descent rates can have fatal consequences. As the pilots worked to correct their approach, they inadvertently allowed the aircraft to descend too rapidly. Ground proximity warning systems, or GPWS, were designed to alert pilots in situations like this. But at the time of this accident, these systems were not as sophisticated as the ones we have today. The warning came too late. The DC-10 clipped the ground just short of the runway, causing it to break apart on impact. The scene was one of chaos and devastation. The crash claimed the lives of many on board, leaving families and loved ones devastated. Survivors described the moments of impact as surreal, an instant that changed their lives forever. Investigators quickly launched a comprehensive analysis to determine what went wrong. Their findings revealed a cascade of errors. Poor communication within the cockpit, misjudgments during the approach, and the challenging conditions of Mexico City's environment all played a role. The tragedy also exposed the limitations of existing training practices and technology at the time. Pilots were skilled, but the fast-paced and high-stress environment of an approach like this demanded more advanced simulation training. Furthermore, the crash underscored the importance of enhanced cockpit communication protocols, which would later become a cornerstone of modern aviation safety. One of the most significant outcomes of the investigation was the push for better ground proximity warning systems. Today's systems are far more advanced, capable of giving pilots earlier and more accurate alerts to prevent such disasters. The crash also contributed to the ongoing development of crew resource management, or CRM, a training method designed to improve teamwork and communication in the cockpit. For those affected by the crash, no amount of technological advancement can undo the loss they endured. Yet, their pain and the lessons learned from this tragedy have undoubtedly saved countless lives in the years since. The story of the DC-10 crash on final approach to Mexico City is a stark reminder of how unforgiving the skies can be. Aviation has come a long way, but every flight still depends on the precision and coordination of both humans and machines. In the end, this tragedy reminds us that even in the most routine moments, vigilance is critical. And while the mistakes of the past cannot be erased, They continue to shape the future of aviation, ensuring that such deadly errors are far less likely to occur again.